Why should you believe in creation and not evolution? I mean, scientifically speaking, haven't we proven that evolution is a fact? Well, near the bottom of the fossil record is a layer of rock known as the Cambrian. Now, this layer is bursting with fossils of all kinds of creatures, many of which look bizarre to us today, including this trilobite. Now, at the time of Charles Darwin, 150 years ago, no fossils were known to exist below the Cambrian. The Cambrian fossils seemed to explode from nowhere. Now, Darwin recognized that this Cambrian explosion was a huge challenge to his position, but after over a century and a half of research, the Cambrian explosion is an even bigger mystery to evolutionary researchers. You see, more and more fossils have been found throughout the Cambrian, and we now know that every major group of organisms, including vertebrates, existed at the time these layers were deposited. Now, this means that every major evolutionary body plan existed before the Cambrian. And these creatures are amazingly different from one another. And many, like trilobites, are highly complex. So where did all of these creatures come from? Well, Darwin thought that the ancestors of these creatures were buried in layers that were eroded away before the Cambrian layers were deposited. So these missing layers were eventually found, and the creatures found in them can't be ancestors to the creatures in the Cambrian layers. Researchers also found fossils in the Precambrian layers, the rock layers below the Cambrian. These organisms are incredibly different from Cambrian creatures. They can't be their ancestors either. So the ancestors of the Cambrian creatures have yet to be found. This is a huge problem. It means that the ancestors of all the major animal groups, 30 or 40 of them, simply cannot be found. So if we can't find the ancestors of all of the major animal groups, why should we assume evolution actually happened? The Cambrian explosion casts a huge shadow of doubt on the entire evolutionary story. But what can explain the Cambrian fossils? The global flood of Noah's day described in the Bible. God created all creatures fully formed and functioning, so we wouldn't expect to find ancestors to the Cambrian creatures in the rocks below. As the floodwaters rose, they would have ripped up miles of sediment, redepositing it in layers, trapping and burying billions of creatures. The seemingly bizarre creatures of the Cambrian were perfectly designed for their marine environment, an environment that was destroyed by the flood. And some of those creatures did subsequently go extinct. That's no surprise. Evolutionary ideas can explain the Cambrian, but the history recorded in God's Word certainly can. That's just one more scientific reason that you shouldn't believe in molecules to man evolution. It takes a lot of faith. I'm David Rives. Truly, the heavens declare the glory of God. Like what you're seeing? Want more? Be sure to hit the subscribe button to be notified as soon as we put up new videos and content.